Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new live stream. I know it's been quite a while since I've last done a live stream, and I promise I've got a very good excuse. Okay, maybe I haven't got a very good excuse. Basically, I wasn't here. I'm here now though, so we are live. How's it going? Welcome back to a brand new... I don't know why I could hear myself, but I hope everyone's doing well today, and welcome back to a brand new live stream, where we've got a lot to talk about, but the main focus on today's live stream is going to be the Ballistic Warp Drives. As you can see, there we go. Wow, my pointing techniques are so fantastic. Thank you very much. But yep, so essentially we are going to be going through the Ballistic Warp Drive, everything to do with that, and basically I'll be explaining why it's my least favorite recipe in Satisfactory, whilst also doing the recipe. Of course, I will then have a dedicated video talking about it, but that won't be coming out now for at least 2.5 to 3 weeks, so that is why I'm doing today's streams, doing all the calculations and fun stuff for it. But that leads me on to my very first question for you guys, I suppose, and you can comment this either in the live stream or down below in the comments if you guys are watching the VOD, which, by the way, welcome. What is your least favorite recipe in Satisfactory? It could be a recipe currently in the game, it might have been a tweaked recipe from ages ago, or maybe it's for an item that's no longer in the game, like the beacons or something. I mean, how could you even make a beacon before? I completely forgot. I've, like, erased beacons from my memory, which is a bit sad because beacons were... Well, I was going to say they were cool. They weren't really. They didn't really do much, but... Yeah, it might be the beacon. But either way, my least favorite recipe personally is the Ballistic Warp Drive, as you're about to see, but the main reason for it is because of how complicated they actually are to make. And again, like I mentioned a bit earlier on, there's a few things that I do generally want to try and talk about today. And one of those things being, Coffee Stain Studios released a new video, and I didn't cover it. The reason as to why I didn't cover it, and it's this video right here, a new community manager approaches. There's a new community manager, fantastic, but there wasn't really any, like, important 1.1 or 1.2 details in that video, and I do want to try and strictly just stick to the interesting Satisfactory news, and I do still want to try and cover as much Satisfactory news as possible, but when it's not that important, I probably won't touch upon it. But either way, it's pretty cool that there's a new community manager. That's fantastic. Also, there's a couple videos I want to try and make. The first one's actually a tier list. Well, they're both tier lists. Well, I say that. These two videos are both tier lists, but there's a few other videos I want to try and make that I'll talk about in just a moment. But essentially, this video here is every single alternate recipe in the game, like pure iron ingots, pure quartz crystal. I don't know why that went out my head there for a second. The things with the steel beams, an alternate recipe there for the iron rod, so a bunch of things like that, which is pretty cool. I want to try and rank every single alternate recipe in the game, and I believe this is updated for update 1.0. Judging by the fact there's ionized fuel and rocket fuel, so yeah, okay, so that should all be good then. The second video is actually a vehicle tier list, because as of right now, there's 7 vehicles in the game. Some of them are really good, others are really bad, and I do want to try and talk about it. Also, fun fact, I actually, like, this is me, I made this tier list almost a year ago. I believe it was August the 1st I made this. It said a bit earlier on, but yeah, so that was fun. I was supposed to make a video talking about this, then they announced updates 1.0, and I sort of held back from that, just in case they were to change any of the vehicles, or add a new vehicle. And they didn't really add a new vehicle. I suppose you could also include things like teleporters as a vehicle, but I won't be doing that. I'll explain why in the video. But yeah, those are 2 videos I want to try and make. Another video that I want to try and make as well, in fact, I am making it in the background, behind the scenes, is a video to do with the teleporters. And I actually made a video about the teleporters within the first couple of days of 1.0 coming out. But based on community feedback, there's a couple things that I've missed and I want to try and cover. So I'm remaking that video and I'm making it quite a lot better as well. So if you guys are still interested in the whole teleporting mechanics in Satisfactory, I have got a video coming out about that. In fact, if I just go through here, this is where I end up. Okay, good, yeah. So I will have a video coming out about that. It's still a pretty cool mechanic. I've actually got a couple complaints about it towards the end of the video, and of course a couple praises, because there's no point me making a video about something just bashing how terrible it is without me giving some good points about it, so I will be doing that as well. And the final thing I want to mention before we get into some Geoguessr is Geoguessr. which I know makes no sense, but essentially Geoguessr released a Steam version of their game. And I downloaded it because I've already got the Geoguessr paid edition on the app, so I thought, okay, for Steam it shouldn't be too bad either. I looked at the reviews, 4,000 reviews, overwhelmingly negative. What? So I want to try and read through a couple of these reviews to see why it's so bad. I've already got the game though, it was free, so I want to try and read through that. Welcome Sheldon, hope that you're doing good. Sleep your manufacturers, making these end, and you'll get so much awesome sync points. Yeah, if you want to, you can. That's what I'm doing at the minute for my 1.0 playthrough, which I haven't played in like 2 months. But at the minute, I'm making things like supercomputers, and I'm slooping it, and then I'm syncing what I'm slooping. So it gives you a ton of coupons. Yeah, there's tons of different ways you can try and get coupons. I actually made a video about it recently. But yes, summer slooping your manufacturers, or even anything, is pretty good. They come too late in the game. That's like my biggest complaint about teleporters. They aren't just a late game item. In fact, let me just open... I'll get that open just for a sec. If I go back to here for a minute. Where's the hub? I think the hub's actually somewhere over there. Yeah, it is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Well, no, well, it being such a late item is pretty bad. Not the fact that teleporters are actually bad in themselves. This will all be explained in the video, don't worry. Actually, here's some behind the scenes sort of stuff. I wasn't going to show this, but there you go. It's relevant to the point I'm about to make. So to unlock the portals, you have to get tier 9 unlocked, which is phase 5, so you're already pretty much done with the game. And then it's here. It's the second final thing you unlock, just behind the Fixonium fuel rods, which I don't even recommend making anyway. And then some Mark 6 conveyor belts. So it's literally the second final thing you get. And also, I don't think Mark 6 conveyor belt should be unlocked this late either. I think this should be a phase 4, tier 7 or tier 8, most likely tier 8 item. Not this late on, but anyway. So the problem with the main portal and the satellite portal is that because you unlock it so late into the game, by this stage you would have already finished quite a lot to do with the game. You're probably like 95, 96% of the way through. So great, you've just unlocked portals, and portals are good. But why use them? Why not just continue to use, I don't know, the, what's they called? I'm forgetting the name of everything today. I don't know what's going on. I generally haven't played this game in so long. Hypertubes, there you go. Why not just use a hypertube cannon? You unlock it towards the relatively... I might just end stream, I'm joking. Towards the start of the game, right? Why not just use that? Cheap. Doesn't consume much power. Pretty good. Anyway, back to Geoguessr. Why are these reviews so bad? Wow. Are there any good reviews? Okay, there are. Geography guessing. Yep. Okay, there we go. Runs much smoother than the browser. I do wish it was a one-time purchase instead of a subscription model. Okay, so it's still some sort of like subscription, which kind of sucks. Monetization strategy. $1 every 10 hours? Interesting, but regardless, even though the reviews are pretty bad over on Steam, I still want to try a very quick round just on the regular Google app itself, because I always like to start off my streams with a quick game of Geoguessr. It's almost like tradition now on the channel. So we'll do a quick game of Geoguessr, maybe a couple games, because the mode I'm playing is quite difficult. And then we'll get onto the Ballistic Warp Drives. But essentially, that's the reason why I haven't been streaming for a while. I haven't been home. And that's everything that's happened since I haven't been live. And the videos I want to try and produce as well. And talking a little bit more about the portals there. So that's like the introduction of the stream essentially done. Now let's get on to the actual gameplay itself. And I believe that the thing that I want to try and do is guess the country? Not guess the flag, guess the country. What's it actually called? Battle countries? Is this it? There's no description. Wait, what? There's 16 million locations? I generally don't know if this is the right one. Let's give it a shot. Europe, France, maybe? South of France? So do I just have to try and guess the country? No, okay, first of all, it's Italy. So that wasn't the mode. What's it even called then? Community maps? Dumb test? I probably have to try and do that one if I'm honest. Blanks of the World's pretty good. US cities? I wouldn't be able to guess a single US city. I can still try the mode, but Okay, well that's just taking the piss. Although a part of me says somewhere in Washington. Should we go Seattle? Is that Atlanta? It is. I only know Atlanta because of The Walking Dead. I don't know any of these. Because I haven't been to any of them, obviously. Performing arts. Is that Jerusalem? Mahala, Jerusalem for the performing arts? That can't be right. No idea. It's nice and sunny. Got a good lake in there. This lamp is almost like a Floridian lamp. That's not a real word. Let's just go Orlando. Okay, why is Orlando flooding? Why are there so many lakes everywhere? What? Okay. I didn't realize Florida was just a swamp. Good to know. You know what? Not too bad. We were only 860 kilometers away. Okay, this is definitely somewhere northeast, like somewhere here, Michigan. Is it gonna be Detroit? I don't think it's Detroit. Wait, what? Who is... Am I playing against people? Oh god, no. I'm gonna go Detroit, and it's either... Yeah, Detroit or Chicago, my two guesses. It's the same play. Oh, piss. In the rain. Welcome to Nissan Stadium. Titans? So is this an American football stadium? I should probably know this skyline. What is... Okay, so Doofenshmirtz has a tower here. That's good to know. No clue. Nissan Stadium parking lots. So these guys are the Titans? Titans or something like that? We believe in... Okay, we understand you're sponsored by Nissan. We understand. Oh, bloody... It's everywhere. Jeez, man. What's the point of this advertising? Like, no one's going to look at this and think, you know what I'm going to need? A Nissan. Anyway, no idea where we are. It looks cold, looks miserable. Could be Britain. No. Okay, I know it's not Detroit. I know it's not Chicago. I know it's not New York. I know it's not Boston. I know it's not anywhere southwest, like in California. New Mexico, Arizona, it's not there. Should we go Ohio? Let's go Columbus. Sure. Okay, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, okay. You know what? I've chalked this round so bad. I'm not even gonna attempt to guess where this is properly. No idea. Northeast. Okay. Northeast. Here. There's not even a city out here except for Duluth. I'm guessing that's the city. It's... Oh, you're taking the mickey. That's not northeast. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let's just get onto the ballistic warp drives. Damn. And let me get Myra open as well. Also, fun story. I was playing Call of Duty. When was this? Friday? And essentially, I'm doing these camo challenges where you can unlock camos for weapons. And I had an Excel sheet open. That's where I keep track of all my camos, because the actual in-game tracking system isn't very good, especially for zombies. And my Excel page closed randomly. During the middle of a round of zombie, it closed. I tried to open it again, and it turns out that Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint uninstalled itself from my PC. In the middle of me having it open, it uninstalled it. So I lost all my documents. Every single document I've had in the last, or since I've had this PC, it's like 7 years, vanished, gone. Except for like a few that were on the cloud, which I could open via an app on my PC. So that was mysterious. I've got it working now. It was very weird. I think it might be a Windows 11 problem. But as you can imagine, I was a bit stressed. Because I have a lot of information on Word. Well, not really PowerPoint. That was mostly like school stuff. Excel, I've got a ridiculous amount. I literally did a stream a few days ago. I think it was my last stream, actually. Where I was planning my mega factories. Actually, no, my last stream was Planet Coaster. But my last Satisfactory stream where I was planning on my mega factories. That was an Excel sheet. That was gone. Now it's back. Really well. Really weird. Reinstall OneDrive. It's worked now. All I had to do was just like rejoin the family plan or something, because my dad's got the family plan. So it's all working now. It was just a bit of a step back, unfortunately. So what we are doing today, chat. Here we go. The Ballistic Warp Drive segment of the stream. We are trying to make 10 Ballistic Warp Drives per minute. As of right now, I won't show you this recipe in its entirety, but I'm already making 50 Singularity cells. I have got, in fact, 2 videos coming out where I talk about these Singularity cells. One of them is a dedicated Singularity cell video, and another one of them is the portal video, because Singularity cells are rather important to make your portals. They essentially power it. I'll explain all of that in the video itself. We are also going to need 10 thermal propulsion rockets, and again, this in itself is going to be another dedicated video. So I want to try and get this done by today, maybe even record it off camera, probably, because I still have to record the biochemical sculptor video and the Singularity cell video. Everything over here has already been recorded. And then, of course, the actual Ballistic Warp Drive video itself, and even the superposition oscillator video, because I don't think I've actually made an entire dedicated best recipe video for the superposition oscillator since it was very first teased, and I tried to like get clues and teasers together to try and find how to actually make this thing. But now, of course, it's been in the game for many months, so it's about time I actually bother covering it. And then lastly, we've got dark matter crystals. I'm not making another video about this. I've already talked about dark matter crystal. There is one really good recipe for it, and there's a couple decent ones for it as well. It just depends on what you prefer as the player. Deary me. I don't know why I'm boiling. It's 15 degrees Celsius today. 15, and I'm boiling. Can you believe I used to live in the desert? I don't. But here we are. So, thermal propulsion Geoguessr. And I believe, oh. Yeah, okay, let's let's get the portal back over to the rocky deserts. And honestly, I can't wait to start a new playthrough in Satisfactory. Which I will be doing. I'll make a video announcing it, but it's a long story. And it sucks, but I have to. So, where do we actually make the thermal propulsion rocket? I'm going to take a bit of a guess and say here? There we go. And to make one of these per minute. Cool. We're going to need 10 manufacturers. Okay, that's not dreadful. Suppose. It's not dreadful. Have I got my maths here? I don't. No, okay, that's a shame. And because one manufacturer consumes 55 megawatts, 10 is going to consume 550. Good to know. The items that we are going to need is essentially times everything here by 10. So 25 modular engines. Okay. Not bad. Welcome, Pixel Perfect FG. Hope that you're doing good. Welcome to the live stream. There we go. I do generally think this is the most difficult recipe to make. However, I think if you make it right, it can still be fun. The best tip I can give for this is take your time, don't rush it, and do little bits at a time. For example, rather than trying to do this entire recipe all at once, just make like a dedicated factory for your singularity cells. When you've done that, fantastic, because again, that can be used for other items in your game as well. And then maybe do a dedicated factory for your thermal propulsion rockets. And then maybe one as well for your super precision oscillators, or maybe even tie this into your electronics factory, or however you want to do it. The best way to play this game is just go into it, have a bit of fun. If it doesn't work out, just redo it. Simple. Yeah, my top tip there is just take your time. Don't rush it, because you'll enjoy it a lot more when you just chill, essentially. Oh, what have I done there? Whoops. Me being a silly sandwich. Okay, 10 turbo motors. Are turbo motors used to make anything else? I feel like they are. I feel like I've used turbo motors for a few things in this game. Oh well. I don't play Satisfactory, but I just thought I'd check in. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, not doing too bad. Had a very chaotic week. Very chaotic week, but it's good. Yeah, lots of things went wrong. Lots of things went wrong this week, but then eventually a lot of things ended up working, so all worked out for the greater good. And no, apparently turbo motors are only used for this. I know that they're also used in building production as well, though. Do I think I should try Satisfactory? It depends what sorts of games you're into. Like, if you're into factory automation games, if you like games where you get to explore and build and be creative, then you might enjoy it. But if you're not really into games like that, then you might not like it too much. Like, have you played any other factory game before, like Factorio, for example? Because if you have played that and you've enjoyed it, you'll most certainly enjoy this. Because I think Satisfactory is a fantastic game. I would not be playing it if I thought it was bad, if I'm being completely honest. I've made that mistake before, and I'm not making it again. No, this game is generally one of the best games I've played, especially within the last decade. Okay, so for cooling systems, we're going to need 30 of them per minute. Damn. That's quite a bit, actually. It shouldn't be difficult to make, though. Hopefully. You guys lined up? Yep. Also, another thing that happened when I was gone, how could I not talk about this at the very first opening sentence of today's stream? Eurovision. Yes, I'm one of those people that watches Eurovision. I am. I like it. I like how chaotic it is, fused modular frame. But I did like it. I thought it was good. Of course, there were a couple of bad acts. Of course, we have to talk a little bit about the British audition. I don't even think their song was too bad. I don't think the British audition was that bad. 88 votes, or 88 points by the jury, great. But 0 votes by the public. 0. That's mad. Well, maybe you got a couple of votes, but 0 points at least. That's crazy. Again, like, we've had some terrible auditions, especially recently, like, worryingly bad. I think Sam Ryder's Spaceman was pretty good. That's generally a song I would listen to, like, when not watching or listening to Eurovision. Even this recent song, it wasn't dreadful, but a couple of the others, oh, blimey, they were ghastly. Austria's performance was fantastic. They won. I think Israel came in second, which made the live audience pissed off, essentially. Who even came in third? I know this is completely off topic. Eurovision results. There we go. Whoa, that was an ad. What was that ad? Okay, it wasn't anything too bad. So, Austria was the winner here. This was the public? Okay, so red was public, then blue was jury? Wait, Poland only got 14 points. They didn't. Wait, what? Okay, there we go. That's a bit better. So yeah, Austria won. It was a pretty decent song. Israel came in second. I don't know much about... I mean, the song was fine. I believe the audition was by... I would try and pronounce her name, but I'd probably butcher it. It was a decent song. Oh yeah, Espresso Macchiato. Yeah. Sweden was alright. I mean, they were all okay. France was good. My favourite performance was by the Netherlands. I loved his voice. It was very good. Poland was good. Germany was good. Apparently she couldn't sing in the live audition. That song... I'm not going to say the second word of the song, but originally it was called Serving. And then a word after serving that sounds like a very bad word in English, but she had to censor it. Everyone thought this would win. At least the public vote, but it only got like 7 votes or something. Or 7 points from the public. We came 19th, so we beat Armenia, we beat Portugal, Luxembourg, Denmark. I mean, yeah. It was alright. It was alright. It wasn't like the worst Eurovision I've seen in my life. But, yeah. Italian song was good. The Greek song was good as well. But my favourite was most certainly Netherlands, and nothing really came close, if I'm honest. Yeah, that was fun. In fact, no, the best song was actually, you know, like, if you guys haven't seen Eurovision, this will make no sense. But on the very first semi-final, the two hosts essentially made a song about Switzerland, because that's where the contest was being held. And that was technically the best song of the competition. A song that wasn't even in the competition. So that essentially sums that up. Modular engine. Okay, back to Satisfactory. I could literally talk about Eurovision for the next 2 hours, but to save you from falling asleep, I won't do it. Okay, you're made in the manufacturer. Again. 2.5, then times you by 10. So, manufacturer. You need 25 of you? Damn. Do you only make 1 per minute? You only make 1 per minute. You absolutely useless. No, it's okay, it's okay, it's fine. Oh well. It's an amazing game, very addictive. It is. It is a very addictive game. Welcome, Jose, by the way. Hope that you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Still into Fall Guys, however. Satisfactory looks really fun. Yeah, I was playing Fall Guys a few weeks ago with Stentric. It's still a fun game. Actually, I really enjoyed it, to be fair. It's not really a game I can come back and stream. I probably won't stream it again. But when I was playing it off camera, I had fun. I did. Okay, so 25 manufacturers. 25 times by 55, because one manufacturer consumes 55 megawatts. I'm trying to calculate how many megawatts you're going to be making. Or needing, should I say. 1,375 megawatts just for this one step. Damn. Okay. And you're going to need 50 motors. Okay. It was like a lot. Connect you to that. What's next? Rubber. 375 rubber. And then 50 smart plating. Okay. Is that difficult? I wouldn't necessarily say so. I've seen worse. I've seen worse. I mean, well, this recipe is terrible. And where is it? You absolute abomination. You. Anything else? I mean, the AI expansion server isn't really that bad. I don't massively dislike it. The biochemical sculptor is not bad. It's not bad. No, it's actually not that bad at all, to be honest. You love the recipe series. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad that you like them a lot, because I'm really enjoying doing them myself. So the fact that, again, I can make videos that people enjoy whilst also enjoying the videos I'm making myself, it's a win-win personally. I love it. Yeah, thank you very much, though, for the kind words. I've been receiving a lot of support from those videos, which is good to see. Of course, I didn't really know if people would enjoy these videos when I very first started to release them. And I've actually tried to make the videos better. I should probably get that down there. I've tried to make the videos better as time's gone on. Like, for example, before, I never used to do things like how many machines are being used, how much power is being consumed, and the recipes I did use were sometimes a bit terrible. Is a nice way to say it. But now, of course, I do include power consumption. I do include a bunch of alternate recipes as well, and machines required, and a bunch of other things. I sometimes also say you might not want to do this, you might want to do this instead. So I also offer other alternates, so it's... Yeah, I do try and make the videos better as time goes on. Absolutely. I have also been thinking, do I want to remake my first few videos about, like, computers, heavy modular frames, all of that sort of stuff, where I could just make it better, but I don't know yet. Wow. And that's another 10 assemblers. Oh well. So because each assembler requires 15 megawatts, 10 assemblers will then require 150 megawatts. Mathematics. This game looks goated, it's pretty good. Yeah. You wasn't surprised with the 0 point? Yeah. Yeah, it was... At the same time, I was surprised I was surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised. This game isn't free. I think it's like £30 on Steam. You can also get it on Epic Games, and soon it will be coming out on console. I don't know when, because it keeps getting pushed back, but soon, trademarked, soon. One day in the far future. Well, hopefully near future, but oh well. So we're going to need 100 rotors, 100 stators. In fact, actually no, stop. I've got a much better recipe for this. Is it up here? Also, this mouse is beautiful. I love this new mouse. Absolutely love it. I got it from Curry's, and it wasn't on sale. I still don't know the brand of it. ADX, there you go. ADX gaming mouse, and it was like, I think it was £14. Super lightweight. It feels great on the hands. Got a good amount of buttons. It's not too clustered. It's got lights on the side, which I didn't even know about until I turned it on. Yeah, for a 14 quid mouse, it does feel really good. Of course, if you are used to higher gaming mouses that from, like, you know, Razer that are like £140 each, this probably might feel crap to you. But the only mice I've ever owned, definitely mice, I've ever owned is a like lower end office sort of mice. So for me, this is really good. Would recommend. Not sponsored, by the way, not sponsored. I just like the product. If I like something, even if I'm not sponsored, I'm going to say that I like it. Because, you know, you don't have to be sponsored to say that you like something. Rid of all this now. The numbers here aren't correct because we're dealing with a different amount of motors, but the recipe in itself is the ideal recipe I do want to try and use. Although I've got a feeling we're going to be consuming quite a lot of iron ore here. Oh, wow. It is what it is. So we're going to need 100 of you and 100 of you. Is it 40 euros? Yeah. Welcome, Kirby. Hope that you're doing good. 2 updates ago, the turbo motor was the hardest, and now, yeah. I actually still remember that. Like, making the turbo motor originally was a very daunting challenge. It was one of those things where you would almost put it off, thinking, I don't want to make that, it's extremely complicated. And then, of course, you then had to make that to then use the thermal propulsion rockets, which is a bit of a pain, and then that's just one step to make the ballistic warp drive. And now, of course, you need the singularity cells, which is all of this, as an addition, plus this, which is, again, quite difficult to make. Well, it's not that difficult, but it's not easy to make. And then 400 dark matter crystal, which is going to be consuming many thousands of megawatts worth of power, so... Yeah, this is my opinion, but I do generally think that the ballistic warp drive is the worst, the hardest, the most difficult part in Satisfactory. Of course, I know some people say screws are bad, and yeah, if you're making thousands of screws per minute, it can be annoying. But I feel like I'd much rather make 10,000 screws per minute than make 10 ballistic warp drives per minute. Because the screws at least look rather satisfying and it's relatively simple to make, it's just quite a lot of items being produced. Whereas with this, it requires many thousands of items, and it requires I'm gonna guess like 60,000 megawatts worth of power here, so yeah. Woo, fun! Okay, rotors, you guys are also produced here, aren't you? Rot. So you are going to need 20 assemblers consuming 300 megawatts. Okay. I mean, 300 megawatts isn't a lot, but as you're... In fact, let me just show you this. This is a bit of a spoiler for my singularity cell video, but just to make the singularity cells for this recipe, we are going to need almost 36,000 megawatts worth of power. Almost like, oh man. This entire recipe is easily going to consume 60,000 megawatts, maybe more. I hope it doesn't consume more, but I mean, a part of me is convinced it will be. Anyway. So we need 200 steel pipes. Oof. Okay. And then 600 wire. That's not too bad. The reason why I'm a bit worried about those steel pipes is because I believe 200 steel pipes is 800 iron ingots. It is. Okay. And power-wise, how are we looking? It's only 80. Oh, we only need 8? Okay. Sure. So 8 constructors will then be consuming 32 megawatts because one constructor consumes 4 megawatts. 4 times by 8, 32. Yep. Just making sure I didn't get that one wrong. Would have been slightly awkward, but no, luckily, I can do mathematics, bruv. Also, yeah, this triggers me. This. When recipes do things like this. Can you produce 60 per minute? No. But you can produce 56.25. In what world do I want to make 56.25 wire? In what Guardians of the Galaxy? Even like 100% is 22.5. What? Why? Why? Anyway. Little rant over. We're going to times you by 100, which is 334. We'll do 334. Power-wise, you're 200... That's 27? Yeah. Pretty much 27 of these. Damn. 27 constructors. Let's just do 27 times by 4 minus 1. 107. And the reason as to why I'm minusing 1 right there is because this number here is not an even number. If this was 27, then it would be 2,700%, which is 27 constructors. But it's not. It's a bit less. We've got to minus some numbers from that. But still, that's pretty insane. Nice to listen to someone who's from the UK and isn't talking about places you don't even know. Anyway, let's try and talk about Fiji or something. I don't know. I know nothing about Fiji. Other than the fact that they're fantastic at rugby. Okay. So, we've done the rotors. Fantastic. We're already consuming 1,134 iron ingots, and I haven't even done the stators yet. Okay. This is... Woohoo! Oh dear. Oh gosh. This recipe, man. I should try and keep counting the amount of times I'm going to say this, but this recipe is just insane. In a bad way. Very bad way. The worst way imaginable. Because now we need 300 steel pipes, 800 wire. Which is more than what I was using here. We're going to need like 2,500 iron ingots just to make our motors. Deary me. You're going to sell your life to me? Honestly, I think I might have to as well. It is ridiculous. You're a console player, so if it comes out, you'll probably buy it. Yeah, I mean, it is fun. I do recommend it. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool game. Again, not sponsored to say that, but I do generally think it's good. But you can also play this game on a controller if you connect it through Bluetooth, I think it works. I think Steam also has something, right? The Steam Deck. I think that works as well, but yeah. Really cool. Let's close your face. We'll then go back over here. Change you to an 8. And then, oh my god, is that 36 constructors? Wait, did I do the power for that? I don't think I actually did, to be fair. You're the exact same. So, again, another 20 assemblers. Just another 20 assemblers. Just chuck that on top, why not? Oh well. So 36 constructors is going to end up consuming quite a lot of power. Okay, then we have to minus 1 megawatt from that. $143. Okay. Not bad. What's next? The steel pipes. Wait, no, I didn't actually type in that number. Nice. 445 iron ingots. Okay. We need 300 of you. Can I do 30? I can. So you're going to require just 12 constructors. A nice even number there as well. 12, 24, 48 megawatts. You don't have to minus anything as well. It's fantastic. And this one part of the recipe is 1,200 iron ingots. Now let's do our maths. Let's add up all these iron ingots together. We need to do 800. In fact, I can just do this. Actually, might as well just add it up just in case. 2,000 plus 334 plus 445. 700. Oh. I was gonna say, no, it's not. Oh. The horror. 2,779. Okay. Damn. That's annoying. 27.79. So we are going to need for 43 refineries. Okay. 43 refineries. Welcome, Cream Supreme. Hope that you're doing good. You want your opinion? It is worse than Fixonium. I feel like recipe-wise, because Fixonium deals with like uranium, which is annoying because you've got a high chance of being killed by the uranium, or radiation, should I say. Which means you then have to consume items for your radiation suit or your haz suit. But then saying that because of this recipe, you can then get rid of all your uranium and plutonium waste, so it makes that pretty good. Then for this recipe, it's not that good for anything really. Honestly, yeah, I think this is worse than Fixonium. I genuinely do think this is the worst like the single worst recipe in the entirety of Satisfactory. Because at least with the Fixonium fuel rods, you essentially eat up all that uranium and plutonium waste, whereas with this, you just eat up power. Like, this is going to require a lot of power. But, oh well. So pretty much, yeah, 43 times by 30 megawatts is 1,290 minus... third minus 10. So 1,280 megawatts. Okay. That's a slight cause for concern. And then resource-wise, you are consuming... honestly, let's just go 1,500 iron. Because in theory, it's 1,496. Might as well just round up there. And 856 water. Yep. Damn, so these are our 50 motors per minute. It's quite an intense recipe, however, I still think it's pretty good. Because logistically, we only need iron and water. granted quite a lot of iron and water, but then after you split it to go down its different paths and all that, it's actually pretty simple. But I still like it. I'm still going to back it. Next, we've got our rubber. This shouldn't be as complicated. In fact, if I use just the basic recipe here, which I don't like to use, and I'll explain it again in the video. Where is it? Yeah, it's just this one here, isn't it? Times all this by 10. No, that's 500. No, you know, let me just do it properly. So to make my rubber, I'm going to need plastic and diluted fuel, is it? Yeah, well, fuel with it, but I'm using the diluted fuel recipe. Okay. So in total, no. Well, first of all, that's wrong. We're going to need 187.5 plastic. Okay. And the exact same amount of fuel there as well. Okay. Then chuck you there, then chuck you into there. Brilliant. And now I've got to try and use my diluted fuel recipe, which I believe was just fuel and water, right? And power-wise, I have to do the power thing, don't I? You only consume 7 refineries? Wow, an actual normal amount. That's pretty wild. I'm almost in disbelief by that number. So 6 times by 30. 180. And a quarter of 30. 7.5. 187.5 megawatts, I think. I'm just going to type that into the calculator very quickly. So 6.25 times by 30. Wow, I actually got that correct. Mathematics. So now we've got to try and... Should we just do our plastic first? Let's just do our plastic again. So to make our plastic, we are then going to just do this. Times it by 10. So we're going to need 10 refineries. And pretty much... I'm pressing every wrong button known to mankind. That was actually, like, incredible how bad that was. 9.4. Really? Yeah, that's correct. 282. Pretty much megawatts there. Not too bad. This looks confusing. It is kind of confusing. Because essentially, the way that this recipe works, or the way that this game works, essentially. Let's just start over here. You need one item plus another item to make an item. That item plus a couple of items makes another item, which also produces the byproduct of another item. This combined with a few other items produces another item, which then produces the waste for another item. The waste then combines with all of these items to then produce this item, which then comes up over here to then combine with that item to then produce that item, which then combines with all of this, and all of that, and all of that, to then produce this item, which then produces waste. The waste from that item then combines with all of this, all of that, and all of that, to produce this item, which when combined with this item, and this item, and this item, then produces this item. Satisfactory. I would say it looks easier said, or it's easier said than done, but it's not. It's about the same. It sounds as difficult as it is to make. Welcome, Seth. Hope that you're doing good, fellow gamer. Hope that you're well, man. So, crude oil. Also, we are making heavy oil residue as a byproduct. I'm probably not going to include that because this recipe is kind of bad anyway. 282 crude oil. Okay. I've already done the refineries for that. Good. You're going to go to there. You've got to go up here a little bit. Which is weird because normally I would, you know, never going to give you up. But now you are going to go up, so that's a bit of a shame. That's fine. I'm going to try and change the colors for you, though. Black and white. Lovely. Nice. But now you're a bit of a complicated one, aren't you? Because you require... Gee, what even... Is it heavy or residue? It is, isn't it? And then you're made in the blender. Yes. It's been so long since I last even attempted to make this. I probably still should know what it's like, though, since I spent like a good 2 months trying to produce my rocket fuel. Oh, well. So heavy oil residue is pretty much 94 per minute. Whenever it comes to liquids, I highly recommend that you always round up. I still don't really understand the way that like liquid logistics works in this game. What I do understand, though, is that it's an absolute pain in the rear. So if something requires, let's say, 96 water per minute, round it up to 100. Because it will save you time in the long run. Yes, you're going to have to consume a little bit more resources, but I think it's completely worth it. Absolutely. Water is 188. You don't have to round up by like 1,000 or anything, just a little bit sometimes. But again, that little bit will make life easier. The maps of Fall Guys voted. Oh yeah, they voted quite a lot. Even though I don't really know too much about the new seasons. Because I stopped after Season 7. Or SS1. Are these still voting maps? Again, I've got no idea if they even vote maps anymore. Yeah, it's definitely information dumpy. Absolutely. Like, if you're a new player, don't watch this video. Like, I feel like this will almost put you off. If you're a new player, literally, my best advice can be, don't watch any tutorials. And I know that sounds dumb, but the way I played the game is I played the game, I made mistakes again and again, and again, and again. Okay, I made quite a lot of mistakes, but I learned from the mistakes. Like, for example, even making iron ingots. All my ratios were terrible when I first started, because I didn't understand that it was like a 1-to-1 ratio in some things, or a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-3 ratio in some recipes. So I didn't understand how that worked, but eventually I taught myself how to do maths. And now that wasn't too bad. And then making rotors, I would make a mistake, because the recipes I would use were pretty bad, or the ratios were pretty bad, and I'd have one thing going from this part of my factory to that part of my factory, then go back over there. It was dreadful. So I've then learnt making that, probably learnt making my motors there as well. So everything in this game is a learning curve. And of course, if you want to watch a tutorial, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I mean, my entire channel is basically tutorial videos. But at the same time, explore the game for yourself. If someone tells you to do something, don't necessarily do it until like you're confident that you want to do it. Then do it. Okay, so 94 heavy ore residue. We're going to need 2 blenders here. Blenders are a bit of a nightmare for me, if I'm honest. We then have to do 75 times by 1.875. Okay. Which, oh, I mean, come on. Just 141. Yep. I'm not going to type in 140.625 megawatts worth of power. No, absolutely not. So that's that. Now the heavy oil residue, which is you, we're then going to need 94 of you. Which requires only 3 refineries. Are you sure? That feels weird. And then about 71 crude oil. But megawatts wise, it's 60 plus a third, 10, 2, 70, 72 megawatts, roughly. It's like 71.6667. I'm not going to do that. Again, round up a little bit. Then, yeah, about 71 crude oil. And this is actually something I do want to try and mention in a few more of my videos. When I make the heavy oil residue, I'm using the heavy oil residue alternate recipe, because there's two that look extremely similar. If I just try and close them, I dislike this recipe with a fiery passion, by the way. No. This recipe. It's the exact same. You make polymer resin and heavy oil residue and polymer resin. The exact same items. The difference is the ratios. Like, for example, here, if I was to make 100 polymer resin, I would get about 15 heavy oil residue. So 100 polymer resin, 15 heavy oil residue. Whereas here, 15 heavy oil residue only gives me 7.5 polymer resin. So one recipe is ideal for heavy oil residue, the other is ideal for polymer resin. I know it makes sense when you see it like this, but both of them are alternate recipes. So sometimes you might not realize, or sometimes it might be a bit difficult to see which recipe I'm using. Whenever I'm doing anything that requires a lot of heavy oil residue, this is the recipe I'm using, because you get more heavy oil residue than this. Just thought I'd point that out. I know, again, it makes sense, but just in case. Didn't like falling too much? Yeah, I fell quite a lot as well. I was very good at the falling parts. Yo, Nick! Thank you very much for the sub. That subscription sound gives me a heart attack every single time I hear it. I don't know why I haven't changed. Yo, Kentucky RC with the sub as well. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much. But I don't know why I haven't changed the sound. Although I know it's like a Viking sound. It's like my channel is based in Viking stuff, so yeah. So that's good. That's good. Now we're moving on to smart plate. Well, I say that's good. I mean, I would still change this part of the recipe, because what I would do here normally is to make my 187.5 plastic. I would then do the exact same like what I've done right here. So add all of this onto here, but then change the plastic to rubber, then use rubber and fuel to make my plastic, then plastic and fuel to make rubber. You can just keep it going on and on and on, essentially. Which, I mean, it works. It does work. It's just a bit annoying. Also, smart plating. I've definitely done smart plating stuff before. Right? I've absolutely done the calculations for this. I have. Not. Okay. Really? I just sworn I've done this recently. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. Where did Valhalla pickle come from? Good question. Essentially, the pickle part of it is because I like pickles. I love pickles. The Valhalla part is a bit of a... It's 2 in 1, essentially. Because Valhalla, of course, is like the Norse gods. Like, it's where, essentially, in Nordic mythologies, where if you die, you'll go to Valhalla, you're sent into Valhalla if the gods accept you. And also, for Warhammer 40k, there's a set, I believe it's the Astra Militarum, called the Valhallans or something. And it's one of my favorite looking sets in the entirety of Warhammer 40k. So it's like a Warhammer 40k reference, a Norse mythology reference, and the fact I like pickles. But also the name just sounds weird, and I like it for that reason. Smart placing 50 per minute. Yes, you are made in the manufacturer. I feel like I've done this. I'm going to do it again, though, because, I mean, it's a very simple recipe in comparison to what we've done so far today. And again, 10 manufacturers, which will be consuming 550 megawatts. And you are going to need 25 reinforced iron plates. Okay. In fact, you know what? Let me just try and give myself a little bit more room out here. Completely just yeet you guys over there. Same with you there as well. Because when it comes to our reinforced iron plates, I've already got the recipe out here. There we go. And you're making 40 per minute. That's a bit of a weird number. Oh yeah, because yeah, I know why. Okay. So nudge you lot up there as well. Maybe a little bit down with them too. Lovely. And get rid of that for now. Actually, wait. Did I not? Oh, I know what I've done here. You've got to go to reinforced iron plates, not straight into the smart plating. Better. There we go. Is 3,000 rocket fuel per minute enough for late game? 3,000 rocket fuel. I'm going to try and find the exact amount of power that you can get from that. Again, it's been a while since I've last played. I feel like that's pretty decent, though. It sounds pretty good. So, that's roughly 4.17 per minute. Okay. 4.17. Wait, no. 719. That's 179,750 megawatts, not including the amount of power you actually need to then produce the rocket fuel itself. It's a very good amount of power. It is a very good amount of power. It also depends on what you're trying to make. If you're not doing like any sort of nuclear stuff, like no uranium fuel rods, no plutonium fuel rods, then you are going to struggle with that. But if that's what power you've got until you want to build your uranium or plutonium, then yes, I think it's pretty good. That's okay, Pixel. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you very much for tuning in. The answer's always Warhammer 40k. Yeah, Warhammer 40k is the answer to everything. It really is. I think it's worth it. Unless I've done something wrong there. I should be right. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Why not? What else was I looking for? Reinforced iron plates. What else? 25 rotors. Okay, well, that's very simple just to copy and paste over. Then 75 plastic. Okay, not too bad. We'll take it. We'll chuck you over there. Go plastic, then change you to a rubber, then everything else remains the exact same. Of course, except for the numbers. The numbers are most certainly wrong. And the only other thing that I need now, I believe, is the rotors. How much plastic? 75. Reinforced iron plates, 25. I want to move you down a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Move you up a little bit, maybe. Yeah, that feels decent. Then chuck you in there, just so you're lined up. Are you lined up? Yeah, you are. Okay, good. Then stators. We'll get you. Then we'll get you. In fact, do I want to move you two over? Because you and you just consume iron. I think I will do that. There we go. Then move you down a little bit. You guys central? You are actually central. You didn't look like you were, but you are, so fair enough. No. Change the numbers here as well, but at least this recipe is correct. That's good. Wait, that was... Oh, doesn't matter. It's the exact same recipe. You're 25 as well. Lovely. That shouldn't be too bad. No. So yeah, definitely going to move you along here a little bit. Make sure that you're roughly in line, which there you are in all fairness. You don't look like you are, but you are. Maybe. Well, I think so. Yeah, that looks good. Move you along to there. Then I can move you down a little bit at least. That's good. Yep. I mean, I'm doing that mostly just for looks, but if it looks good, it's going to feel good. It's going to be easier just to look at, essentially, which is rather important. Okay. Up here a little bit. Why is that just not... That's annoying. There we go. Okay. Where do we start off? Well, first of all, when it comes to our power, I should have already done that. That was 10 manufacturers. Yes, that's already done. Now let's talk a little bit more about those reinforced iron plates, for which I still haven't actually got rid of all those previous numbers. Let's do that very quickly. There we go. So 25 reinforced iron plates. That shouldn't be too bad, especially if we use this recipe right here. The reinforced, cancel that, the stitched iron plates. I really enjoy this recipe. It is going to set us back about 5 assemblers. Not too bad. We've had worse today. Yep, 5 assemblers. And power-wise, 4.4... We'll do 4.5. Times by 15. Which is roughly... We'll go 68. 68 megawatts. An average video take to make. If it's a video like a best recipe video, then it's probably somewhere in the ballpark of 3 to 4 hours of research, doing all the best recipes, then adding everything up, like power-wise, machine-wise. So yeah, between 3 and 4 hours. Editing-wise, another hour on top. Trimming everything down, making thumbnails, all that sort of jazz. Correcting the mistakes I might have made. So yeah, in total, we're looking at roughly 6 hours for a video. No, 5. Depends, like roughly 5 hours. But some videos take a lot longer. Or a lot shorter if the recipe's a bit simpler. On average, I would say it's about 5 hours for a video. Which is not too bad. But the thing is, I don't spend 5 hours a day making videos though, because I would get extremely bored of it very quickly. So I space out my time. Sometimes I'll spend 20 minutes making a video, take a break, then come back to it. Sometimes I will just spend 5 hours in a row just editing and doing all the maths and all that, and I feel happy with it. It just depends on the day, honestly. So, reinforced iron plates, we're going to need 84 iron plates. Yeah, 84. Wire 16.7. In fact, in that case, there we go. It's a bit better. Wait, that's the wrong recipe again, isn't it? Is it? No, that's the right recipe. But I've got to times everything by 10 though, don't I? Yeah. So it's 167, not 16.7. But the plates were fine. Okay, that's better. That makes more sense to me now. When it comes to our iron plates, we are going to need 12.6 iron ingots. I don't like having decimals, but sometimes it happens. And power-wise, that's going to be 5 constructors. Not bad. Consuming 17 megawatts, which is just over 4 constructors worth of megawatts required. But as you can see here, We're very, very close to those 4 constructors. That makes sense. Now onto wire. Using iron wire, of course, which is a recipe I do recommend, but it depends. If you've got tons of copper nearby, just use the regular recipe. If you want to make things maybe simpler for an iron factory, just want to make everything in one factory, iron wire might be good for you, which is what I'm doing. You're going to need 93 ingots. So in total, that's what we're looking at. Now let's add it all together. So we'll go 13. Let's see, actually, let's do 12, I suppose. That's 105.6. I really don't like that decimal. I honestly might just make that 13, but there's no point because nah, it's fine. Make a Paul Vor. Or do you mean like a Paul vote? And then see what everyone wants. The problem with that though is that a lot of time people will say that they want one thing, and then when I do it, they won't watch it. So even though on paper that sounds like a good idea, it doesn't actually mean it will be a good idea. They just say what they want you to hear in a way. Or they say what they think they want you to hear. When it comes to iron ore, you need 57. And then water is 33. Okay. That's not too bad. And power-wise, did I do the power for the last one? Let me double check, because it's very important that I do not forget that. Okay, I did forget it. Luckily, I checked. So we're going to need 8 constructors for this one. Consuming 7, 14, 28, 30 megawatts. Yeah, not bad. I believe now that's our reinforced iron plate recipe done. Also, when it does come to the best recipe videos though, it's like, I've only got a few videos left that I really can make. And I don't want to drag out this series where I'm just making best recipe videos about like really random stuff that no one's ever going to watch. So I only want to make content that I want to make, first of all. That's the most important rule. It has to be a video I would generally watch or actually enjoy. And 2, even if the video would be popular, even if it's something I don't want to make, again, I won't do it. I sort of suppose links back to the first point. Yeah. And also, if it's a video that no one's going to watch, I won't make it. Unless I'm really interested in the subject. Like, you won't be subscribed and one day I release a video that's like, top 5 best ones in Harry Potter. That's not going to happen because I don't really care about that. And even if I did, it's a bit of a random video to release. Okay, 25 rotors per minute. How much of this recipe have we still got left to go? Bloody hell. We haven't even started turbo motors. This might just be like a dedicated stream just doing turbo motors. I want to try and get cooling systems done. Use modular frame. Oh. This recipe is nuts, man. This recipe is actually just insane. It really is. Anyway. And the thing is, right, whenever I do streams like this, I enjoy them. But don't get me wrong, though. Mentally, it is draining. It really is mentally draining, which is the main reason why I don't normally stream for more than 2 hours when it comes to these recipe streams. And the funny thing is, I'll take like a 5-minute break, then I'll come straight back at it. But I can't really take a 5-minute break when streaming, unless I play Geoguessr, but it's a bit random. Okay, 2.5. So you're going to require, that's 5 assemblers, the exact same like before. Okay. And 5 times by 15. 75. Okie dokies. Resource-wise, you are then going to need 50 steel pipe? Yeah, 50 steel pipe, then 150 wire. Okay. I think that's right. It looks right. Yep. Good. Pipe of steel. Right, okay, we'll start with the wire then, since you're basically here. You're going to require 7 constructors. Well. 7. And then, okay. 7, 14, 28 minus 1, 27 megawatts worth of power. And 84 iron ingots. Yeah. Next up, we then have our steel pipe. Or iron pipe, in theory. Where you are going to need 50. Okay. That's not too bad. We're only going to need 2 constructors for this. And I'm guessing that's going to be 200 iron ingot. Whoa, not 2,000. Yep, okay, good. So 200 plus 84. I'll give you guys a few minutes to figure that one out. The answer is 284. Then we'll pop our faces background over to our refinery. Then do 28.4, then just times everything by 10. By 10? Okay. 5 refineries. Four times by 30. 120. Plus 11, 131 megawatts. That's pretty much the right answer. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I think it might be like 131.4 maybe, so I'll round it up to 132. Because I'm feeling extremely nice today. And that's going to be 160. 153 iron ore, and then 88 water. Yeah. Grand. And the last thing now is the plastic recipe, which is going to make me cry a little bit because it's just so annoying to calculate. But I think this is the last time that we're dealing with plastic or rubber today. I hope. Maybe. No, it should be. And it's a very small amount as well, in all fairness. And also, why are you so far away from that? I don't think you've got COVID, so get back over that. There we go. I don't think I actually ever got the C word. I can't say what it is on the cough virus. Well, I might have gotten it. I still don't know, but I still isolated anyway. I got quite lucky. I think I've already told the story of what happened, but essentially, I was in school at the point. I was in year 13, so final year of education, about to sit my A-levels, which for anyone outside of British curriculum is like the very final exam you do in school. 13 years of education comes down to this one exam, and we're about maybe a few weeks away at this point, so everyone's revising. I'm doing a BTech in business, which is all fine. It's like all coursework. I would say it's simple. Some parts of it were a bit of a pain, but the majority of it wasn't too bad. And I was also doing a media A-level. Why did I take media? I generally do not know, because we spent almost a year and a half learning about gender in media. I do not give a crap. I see a woman on my screen, she's a woman. I see a man on my screen, he's a man. I do not care. I don't care about what the gender means in the media, but a year and a half down the drain for that. And then COVID happened. Oh no, what a shame. Schools then closed for 2 weeks. It was right before our Easter vacation, so our school said, okay, well, for the first week, have it as your Easter vacation. Then for your second week, you'll be doing online work on Microsoft Teams. It wasn't Skype. I think that was a bit old by then. So it was Microsoft Teams, I think. And then at the very beginning of the second week, we got an email saying, school's closing completely, and you can't come back to school because we're not opening until the next academic year in September. I didn't sit my exams. Luckily, for my BTEC business, again, it was all coursework, and because I was really far ahead, I was like one of the furthest ahead in the class, because I wasn't completely moronic. I was able to do pretty well. I think I got distinction star distinction, which is, it sounds better than what it was, because again, it's fairly simple to do. But for my A level, they judged me off of an exam I didn't sit. They gave me like an estimated score of what they thought I was going to get, and they gave me like a D, which was kind of disappointing. Because again, when I sat my mock exam, I also had 3 pretty major submissions for my BTEC business, and if I was to fail those 3 submissions, I would have got a really bad score for business. And I felt like business, well, and I still stick with this choice, business was a lot more important than media, because I didn't want to do anything to do with media. Saying that whilst live on YouTube. But I mean, don't get me wrong, the media course I did had nothing to do with YouTube. It was literally just political stuff. It was literally like doing politics, except you weren't allowed to think. And that's what I think schools do very wrong nowadays, is that you're not allowed to think in a certain way. You have to do what they tell you to think. And whilst doing media, it was... You weren't allowed to have any sort of creative freedom, which really sucked. Anyway, back to this. That's my cough story, because we were talking about... What was it? How did I even get onto that discussion? Anyway, yeah. So, didn't sit my exams. They gave me a pretty bad score. But luckily, again, the BTEC stuff was all good. All brand new, so, yeah. 75 plastics going to require 37.5 rubber. I think there was an opportunity for me to actually resit my A-levels. But I said no, because I've forgotten everything I was taught. Literally everything. Welcome... Oh, no, I'm going to mispronounce his name. Takadri? Fingers crossed I got that right. If I didn't, feel free to send me verbal abuse. I hope that you're doing good, man. You just finished automating the Ballistic Warp Drive yesterday. Ah, man. Hopefully, it wasn't as bad as I think it's going to be, because judging by everything here, this recipe looks absolutely dreadful. Is it worse than what I think it is, or is it slightly better? Because, again, this looks really bad. I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit shaky. No, it sounds like it's going to be a bit of a pain. I don't mind doing it, obviously. If I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't do it. Simple, but I kind of want to try. So, we need 7.5, 37.5 megawatts. We'll do 38. I'm not doing 0.5 megawatts. 38 megawatts there for our 2 refineries. That's not too bad. Let's just get our rubber out the way with, since, again, I don't like this recipe too much, but it makes things nice and simple. So again, you're also going to need 2 refineries. However, you're going to be consuming a little bit more. You're going to be consuming... roughly 57 megawatts. Not bad. And then resource-wise, it's 50... yeah. Sure, 56.25 crude oil. And a bit of heavy oil residue there on the side, which is quite nice. Fuel-wise, I'm going to jump back over to here now. We shouldn't require that many blenders at all for this. Should be less than 1. Yep. Great. So 1 blender, we then have to do 75 divided by 0.37. Okay, well that's very clearly wrong, isn't it? What have I... Huh? Okay, so 25 is 30%. 33%. So we're looking at like 28 megawatts, roughly. That should be right. That then requires 18 0.75 heavy ore residue. Which in theory, I'm actually going to remove this. Because the heavy ore residue that we get from the rubber as a byproduct is actually enough to go into here. So there's no point me doing that. Same with this as well. I'm actually going to paint you a different color here as well. We'll do red. That's nice. Water was 37.5. Lovely. A bus style factory. So everything was on a bus. Oh wow. Actually a pretty interesting idea. I always like factories that are visually unique. I think they're pretty interesting. Like I was thinking about doing a pyramid factory, which I still want to do. I just don't know when. But for my next series, I'm planning on starting in the northern forest rather than the dune deserts. So I'm then hoping that I can try and build some sort of like ancient Egyptian factory out in the dune deserts. I don't know how I'm going to design it. I mean, a pyramid's fairly straightforward, but I'm going to try and do other bits around it as well. So I think that would be kind of interesting to attempt. Keyword there being attempt, because I don't know what's going to end up looking like. Wait, so you're... Okay, good. So everything here is just for the thermal propulsion rocket. Good. I don't want to get any of this mixed up with any of that, because I want all of this to be a separate video. Which makes things a bit easier for me, and for... me. just me, probably, but now it's... make things easier. Okay, we've got a big one next. Turbo motors. If this is worse than what I remember, I'm not going to bother, and I'm going to do this another day. Nope. No. Heck to the no, to the no, no, no. Let's start with the cooling systems. Then we'll do fuse modular frames. Then after I do that, I can then use both of them for my... what recipe did I like before? I've actually got no idea. I remember I made a video about this. All I have to do is just watch my old video back. But I remember one of these recipes was pretty decent. I don't think any one in particular was like that much better than the other two. But yeah, I'm going to have to rewatch that video. Oh well, not today's problem. Am I putting it off purely because I don't want to have to calculate turbo motors? No. Okay, maybe, but I feel like it's understandable. Right, so cooling systems. We're going to go with a cooling device which is made... oh, it's made in the blender. There we go. So we are going to need 6 blenders. Consuming 75, 150, 450 megawatts. That's probably not right, but I do want to just double check that. 6 times 75. That should be correct, actually. Yep, there you go. 75 times by 2 is 150, times that by 3 is 450. Mathematics! We're then going to need quite a lot of other smaller items here, which shouldn't be that difficult to make. Famous last words? Is that 60 heat sinks, by the way? Damn. Now that is quite a lot. Why are you red? I know why you were red. It's actually my fault. Oh well. Please. So 60 heat sinks, 15 motors. Wait, 15 motors? Oh no. Oh, okay, no. Oh dear. Okay, so basically, okay, what I made a bit of a mistake there. I thought this was 5 motors per minute, and I remember how crazy this recipe was. So I thought it was everything here times by 3, but luckily it's nowhere near. It's like a third of, less than a third of this. Wow. I was almost about to like cry. Just kidding. I don't know how to cry. Next, we've got 360 nitrogen gas. Yeah, this recipe is really simple. I like it. Nitrogen gas, gas, gas! At 360, yeah, it's not too bad. Have any of you guys ever been in a gas chamber before? Pretty cool. I mean, it hurts a little bit. A lot. It was a fun experience. I would recommend it. A family trip, no. But no, it was alright. It is that one. What did I use? I did. There we go. Go watch Nalius Satisfactory series. He has plenty of interesting ways of making butter. Okay. As in like a bus? As in like a vehicle? Or as in something else? Am I just like misunderstanding the word bus here? Because when I think of bus, I think of the vehicle. Once the best recipe series is kind of capped out, do you see a future where you transition to other factory games? I do want to try and do a very mini series on Satisfactory Plus. But I don't know yet. Because even though Satisfactory Plus is interesting, I prefer the base game, if I'm honest. This is the last thing you need to make. It's one of the very final things I have to calculate, because after I do the Ballistic Warp Drive, I then have... Oh. Yeah, this is the very final thing. I'm not doing 20 per minute, I'm doing 10 per minute. But yeah, this would then be the very final item. Then after that, I have everything ready for my next series, which I keep accidentally spoiling. But there you go, I've got a new series coming out. Well, not coming out, but when 1.1 comes out to the main game, I want to start a new video series. I'll explain more about it in a video when 1.1 does come out. But essentially, for my 1.0 save, I've reached a stage where my PC could just no longer handle the game. So, and I also want to try and experience the 1.1 stuff in a new factory. So, yeah. In a new world, even. Let's just get heat sinks out the way with, because I know what this recipe entails, and I just don't like it. Of course, it's aluminium based. But I believe I've done something very similar over here. I've definitely done heat sinks before. There we go. That's 40. I'm still going to redo this recipe, but I like to try and get a good footprint for what I want to try and actually do here. And then all of you... Okay, this recipe is a lot bigger than I thought. So yeah, all of you just move with that. There we go. Great, then chuck you along there. Fantastic. So I want to try and get rid of all that. All of these numbers have to go because they're not correct. I could, in theory, what I could do is divide this by 2, then times it by 3. But I'm not going to do that because I still got to do all the power and machine calculations anyway. So I might as well just get rid of the numbers, honestly. Ew, no. Nice. Well, welcome the real Jackie Danime. Hope that you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. A bus factory is basically everything branches off of one main conveyor line that delivers base materials throughout the whole base. Ah. Could be interesting. I mean, I suppose I'm kind of doing that with my iron factory, because when it comes to my iron factory, the only thing I'm actually taking in is iron and water. And from that, I'm producing the iron ingots, the iron rods, the iron plates, the screws, the wire, the cable, the steel pipes, the reinforced iron plates, the modular frames, the rotors, stators, and motors, all in one factory, just from iron. And then from that, a lot of these are then used for each other. For example, iron ingots is used to make iron plates, which are then used to make reinforced iron plates, or Iron ingots are then made to use wire, or used to make wire and steel pipes, which is then used to make rotors and stators, which are then used to make motors. But I would describe that more as a modular factory, though. Granted, this is going to be a bloody massive factory, but it is still just a modular factory, really. You're a much lazy project assembly and just made an extra of each part, so they needed to turn them straight into their parts. I mean, that's fair enough as well. I mean, well, to an extent. If you're making like 1,000 iron rods, but you only need like 360, then it's quite extreme. But if you're making 1,000 iron rods and you need 983, then that's more understandable. I can see where you're coming from, and yeah, I do definitely recommend doing that with liquid though. Like whenever you're dealing with water, or anything really that's liquid related, always produce more than what you actually need, because you will reach the point where you are producing the exact amount of water that you need to make the exact amount of diluted fuel, to make the exact amount of rubber, let's say. But then your factory isn't 100% efficient because something's gone wrong with your liquid logistics. It happens. It happens to me a lot. And I don't know how to fix it, so I just make a lot more than what I need. Well, not a lot more, but a fair bit more. Okie dokie. Heat sinks. I don't know why I said okie dokie. Where does that saying even come from, okie dokie? It's probably some sort of like Victorian plague or something, isn't it? Like that song, Ring Around the Roses. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard. I'm not going to sing it, but the lyrics like, ring around the roses, a pocket full of something, a tissue, we all fall down. And we used to sing that when we were kids in school. Turns out that was to do with the Black Death, the virus that wiped out like 40% of Europe. Childhood songs, everybody. Also, London Bridge is falling down. London Bridge is falling down. It's another song. We used to sing that in school. It's about London Bridge falling down. Also, isn't London Bridge now in America? Doesn't matter. What was I going to search up? Oh, that went out my mind. It's out my mind. It's gone. I was so distracted with nonsense, I've lost what I was trying to talk about. Anyway, if I've forgotten what it is, it's not that important. Heat sinks 60. So we'll do 6 here, then just times everything by 10. Makes things nice and simple. 300 owl-clad aluminium sheets and 180 copper sheets. And we're going to need 8 assemblers. Okay. 8 times 15 is 120. Okay. That's pretty good. No. Wait. Also, have you noticed I've abbreviated almost everything here except for assemblers, because I'm not going to have ass. We need 20 ass. Also blend. I don't know why I didn't abbreviate blenders. Because it's nice and simple. Oh well. Yeah, that's that sorted out. The next thing is our... Let's just get the aluminium sheets out of the way with, because they're quite annoying. What's the name of that planet? It's called Myro. This is the actual app version. There's a website you can use called Myro, but I do recommend downloading the app because all of the stuff that I had over on the website got deleted, which is quite annoying because I did all of this, but now I'm having to redo all of it. But yeah, so I do recommend getting the app. It's still a very good app though. There's a paid version and a free version, but everything you see and everything you've seen in my videos is all part of the free version of that. Welcome, whose dad is this? Hope that you're doing good. Welcome. Abbreviate assembler as ASMR. I could have done that. It's too late now. I've been doing this for many months now, so I might as well just stick with it. If I was to turn back time, I would. If I could turn back time. No, stop. Okay, so we are going to need exactly 10 assemblers here. Okay. That's rough. Well, it's exactly 150 megawatts. Ooh. Okay, that is the right recipe. I thought for a minute I got the wrong recipe, but no, it's definitely the right one. That's 300 aluminium ingots, and that's 100 copper ingots. Okay, now let's do a bunch of this copper stuff. So 100 copper ingots is... Who's ready for another rant? I am. Why can you make 93.75 copper ingots in the refinery? Who is ever going to need 93.75 copper ingots? Why not just make it 100? Why? Because if I was to have like 3 of these refineries at 250% efficiency, the number there is going to be something stupid. 93.75 times by 3. 281.25. Why not just make it 100? In fact, what is 100% at? Yeah. Anyway, temper tantrum over. What was I going to do? Oh yeah. Times it by 10 now. Honestly, manual labor. So 2.7 times by 30 is roughly 81 megawatts. Lovely. And regarding resources, that's going to be 40 copper ore. It's a good amount. And, oh god. 2.6, so 27 water. I'm not doing 26.67. No. I refuse. I don't consent to that. And then now moving over to our copper sheets. We need 180 of you guys. I'll do 80 and then times it all by 10. Which luckily for this part is exactly 8 refineries. 8 times 30. 240 megawatts. Had to use all 3 of my last brain cells there to figure that one out. And what I could do... Wow. That saved me at least 4 seconds of my life. That's incredible. I've just lowered today's stream duration by 4 seconds. In fact, no, I probably haven't because I spent 4 seconds talking about it. Well done, me. Figure it out yourself, yeah. Figure it out yourself instead of copy and pasting one from Satisfactory, yeah. That's why I prefer to use it. Because you could use Satisfactory Calculator or Satisfactory Tools, that's completely fine. Whereas with this, I feel like you're actually doing it yourself. Because I find this a lot more rewarding rather than just going onto Satisfactory Calculator, typing in 10 ballistic warp drives and doing whatever it tells you to do. Whereas with this, I'm choosing the recipes I want, I'm laying it out in the way that I want to lay it out, I can organize it in the way I want to organize it, and I feel personally this is a lot easier to read. And eventually when I do something, all I've got to do is this. Go over to whatever item I've just finished doing, select the shape, then change this to that. And now I know, okay, green beans, I've already made it, it's being produced. I can now move on to the next item, which is the iron plates. Then do the same thing there, then same thing over here, etc, etc. So visually, this is nice and easy to lay out. Also for my videos as well, I find it easier to see. You haven't got arrows going all over the place, it's literally just a straight line. So yeah. I much prefer doing this, even though granted it takes a lot longer to do. I also don't mind doing it. I don't know why I don't mind doing it, but there's something about it that I just find quite relaxing. Especially having like a podcast on in the background, listening to all my favorite podcasters, like... I don't know. I don't really listen to much podcasts, I'm honest. There's a few good ones out there. I'll listen to clips every now and then of podcasts, but I don't normally watch too many of them. I don't know why I'm sweating. It's 14 degrees. Unbelievable. Well, in this room it's probably a lot hotter because of this PC. that is essentially heating. I could probably leave this PC on for 6 hours in a storm somewhere in like a northern Norwegian village, and it could probably heat up the entire village itself. That's how warm this PC actually is. Alienware, I think it's called. Yeah. Alienware something. 180 copper ingots, your 72 copper ore. That's not too bad. And then 48 water. Great. So how many refineries is that? Roughly 5. Okay. What did I just press? Five times 30. Oh, 150. There we go. 150 minus 20% of 30. 144? I've probably got that massively wrong. Oh. That's the second time today I've got a mathematics correct. Honestly, why don't I just apply to going to Oxford at this point? I've got 2 mathematic equations correct in a row now. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just pure talent. Sarcasm, by the way. Don't worry. Yeah, I wouldn't go with Alienware again, if I'm honest. Actually, I don't want to speak too loudly, just in case the Alienware devs have, or tech people have inserted some sort of like microchip into my PC that would then corrupt everything. Definitely not a conspiracy theory at all. But I probably wouldn't go with it again, if I'm being honest. It's not bad. I mean, it served its purpose. It's lasted for many years. I'll give it that. You are a smelter. Oh my days. I hardly ever use smelters anymore. Wow. So I'm going to need 10 of you lot. Which is only 40 megawatts, which is actually kind of hilarious. But there's another item coming up, probably in my next stream in about 7 years' time. Where is it? Which is probably going to end up consuming at least 10,000 megawatts. So, yeah, 40 is not too bad. At all. In fact, it's actually very good. So, you're going to be 600 scrap. Damn it. Boink. No, wait. There we go. I did one the other day, where I was facing this direction and I was trying to select the assembler, and I literally got it first time. Oh. No, that's the refinery. No. No. Okay. You see what I'm trying to do. Essentially, that's why I actually did it. It was on a stream as well. It was like a phase 360 quickscope on Modern Warfare 2, but on Satisfactory instead. The very first ever Satisfactory 360 assembler quickscope. Me. That was me, everybody. That was me, right? Breaking records every single day here on this channel. The next record that I'm going to try and break is trying not to get sidetracked for more than 5 minutes. It's going to be pretty difficult. Okay, all the maths here is wrong. Did I just forget to delete it or something? Probably. What is your go-to pizza topping? No, stop. I'm being distracted. And if it's pineapple on pizza, then I agree because it's absolutely fantastic. Oh, we just got taken off the air in Italy. I mean, it's nice. I do like... See, now I'm actually properly distracted. But I do like a good pineapple on pizza. It's a good bit of sweetness. I know some people do kiwi. I think it's the Finns that do kiwi on pizza. Or maybe it's the Swedes. Who puts kiwis... And by kiwis, I don't mean people from New Zealand. I mean actual kiwis. Oh, it's Danish. Okay. In Sweden as well. Okay. So essentially, I just threw Finland under the bus there for no reason. I deeply apologize. Apologize. Unholy kiwi pizza is a tangy, pleasant surprise. Who on earth would set... Oh, it's The Guardian. It's a surprise. I mean, I'm not gonna try it. I'll take her word for it. I am now properly distracted. So 360 alumina solution and 120. Oh, I've already got that there. Fantastic. And that's going to require only 2 refineries. At 200% clock speed, which is 100% each. So that's only 60 megawatts. Lovely. I'll take it. Welcome, Brunio. Hope that you're doing well. Welcome. You're a pineapple and pizza guy? Nice. It's pretty good. Get 3 math equations. Oh, no, I can't do that. It's too much. So, what should I tackle first? I suppose we can just get the solution done with. Actually, water. 210. Water. Bottle of water. I don't know why I'm trying to do a British accent. I'm not British, by the way. People keep thinking I'm not British. I live here, but no. I'm also, well, I'm also in the reserves, so I guess I am kind of British now. I've sworn allegiance to the king 3 times. I think that, yeah, the king's technically my boss, right? Which is a bit weird to say, but he is. I suppose I am kind of British now. I'll never be English though. Like there's a difference. No matter how hard I try, I can't physically be English. 300 bauxite, yeah. 300 water, yep. 2 refineries, yeah. Okay, better than I thought. 150% clock speed. That's 45 megawatts. Nice. Again, very simple equations today. Heavy ore residue now from 120 petroleum coke. Okay. Where am I from? Well, my father's Irish, and my whole family from his side's Irish going back many generations. But my surname's Welsh. I've been to Wales once, and it was the most traumatic experience of my life, but that's nothing... That isn't Wales' fault, just because what I was doing was traumatic. Yeah, his side of the family is Irish, and my mother's side of the family is from Lebanon. In fact, I'll be going to Lebanon in 2 weeks. Because our house might be damaged, we think. Well, I say house, it's like a flat, but yeah, we're not quite sure about the condition of it. So we're going to go just check on it, make sure it's all okay. Go on vacation to the... Well, we were planning to go in the south of Lebanon, which is where like the really cool stuff is. But there's a couple of problems down there at the minute, so we're gonna see what we can do. I still want to go. I don't particularly care, if I'm honest, about the whole trouble. There's always trouble down there. I do not care. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I might even vlog it. The only problem is I haven't got a mic, and I'm way too embarrassed to do vlogs out in public. I would literally hold the camera like by my side. I would never speak into the camera. I'll be way too embarrassed to film. It's a nice place though. It's just got lots of problems. I mean, what country hasn't got lots of problems though? So again, to make our 40 heavy ore residue using the heavy ore residue alternate recipe, we are going to be needing 30 crude oil, which is not too bad. That's a lot more than I thought it was. Really? That's correct. We're also producing 20 polymer resin as a byproduct, and because we're only using 1 refinery at 100% efficiency, it means that we are consuming 30 megawatts worth of power. And that essentially is our heat sink recipe done, which I feel like it took me a good 20 minutes because I kept on getting distracted. But there we go. You would eat it, however, not a fan of pineapple and pizza. Yeah, it is a bit salty, isn't it? Yeah, it's like that salt and sweet combination's a bit weird. That said, cinnamon with pineapple. Ah. I don't think I've ever tried that. Although I'm not really too much of a cinnamon guy. I don't mind it. Again, distracted again, but this is a conversation worth having. I don't mind cinnamon. And the reason why I don't mind it is because it goes with everything. Sweet, savory, salty. That's about it, isn't it? But yeah, it goes with everything. In fact, one of my favorites food establishments of all time is Cinnabon. We browse the Cinnabon menu. Oh, we're so distracted now. Cinnabon UK. What in... No, that's illegal. How many calories, chat? How many calories? Oh, at least 15,000. If I'm not, like, dying by the end of this, it's not good enough. Decline. Oh. Oh. Ooh. The only one I've ever had is the original, which I still think is the best. Because it's the only one I've ever had, so. Wait, £7.99 for 6 of them? Oh, for a 2-pack. You cheeky sods putting 6 in the thumbnail, then I got clickbaited by Cinnabon. That's tomorrow's video, everyone. Tomorrow's video, I got clickbaited by Cinnabon. And you wouldn't believe what happened next. Before I make that video, let's just get back to Satisfactory stuff. Where we are now going to need 15 motors per minute. Luckily, we've... Hang on a sec. Iron... Crude oil. Iron crude oil. Okay, modular engines could actually be made in our iron factory. Because all I've got to do is just ship over some rubber and plastic. Plastic can then be used to make our smart plating. Rubber can then be used to make our modular engines. And then we could very easily produce this in our iron factory. Wow. I'll be down for that. I think that could be rather interesting. No. Absolutely not. There we go. And just plop you in there. And get rid of all these numbers. Because you are all way too high. Deary me. You've actually been considering traveling to Ireland a lot recently. Depending on how much you like it, you've even been considering moving out there, depending on the direction America keeps going in. Yeah, I mean, Ireland is a nice place. The only thing I would say is that they're currently having a bit of a problem with their housing. And when I say a bit of a problem, I mean it's one of the worst housing crises I've seen in my life. I would know that because my brother's been... Well, my brother's now got a house. But he's been trying to get a house for a very long time. And it's a nightmare. My sisters have all got houses out there. 2 of them still live with their mother. The other one, she's got her own place with a husband-to-be. Because she's getting married in July, I believe. Well, I should probably know when, but yeah, it's July. So she's got a place now as well. But getting a house is so difficult out there. It really is. I mean, there's even videos on like TikTok where you can see like 100 people queuing outside of a house. Mad. Because the problem is with Ireland is that they're not building enough houses. They've got a very similar problem to here as well, where they need to build more houses because too many people keep going into the country. Because, I mean, Ireland's a beautiful, beautiful country. One of the most beautiful countries on earth. It's beautiful. It really is. But they haven't got enough houses. And when they try and build a house in the countryside, people are like, why are you destroying the countryside? It's a countryside. It's beautiful. Just remain it like the way it is. Then you need houses. So it's like a whole process that keeps on rewinding itself. Either way, no one's happy with the whole housing problem. Because you need houses, which have to be built somewhere, but then you have to end up ripping up parts of the countryside. Even the area I live here in the UK, they're doing that. Like, since we've moved back, there's been entire fields that are just flattened now for houses. Which is a bit of a shame. But, I mean, the traffic's been so bad here recently. And it's only going to get worse because they're essentially building 2 huge towns right next to each other. I don't know who approved the planning for them. But if you've ever played an hour of City Skylines, you'd understand why building 2 new towns next to each other with lots of commercial and lots of residential with very little other jobs nearby is a pretty bad thing to do. Because it means that everyone inside of these places who wants to go to work leaves, then everyone who wants to go to these places for commercial reasons comes in. So you just get tons of traffic. But anyway. That's life. Heck. I knew that was going to happen. I still did it anyway, and I knew that was going to happen. So we are going to need 30 rotors and 30 stators. Not bad. Then assembler-wise, it's 3. Okay. Which is, well, it is 45 megawatts. That's not too bad at all. Next up, let's do our rotors now. Actually, that's over here, isn't it? So I don't know where I'm going to. Going on holiday. That's now 6 assemblers. Okay. So 6 assemblers. 90 megawatts. Yep. Welcome, Finard. Hope that you're doing good, man. Welcome, welcome. Getting back to the pizza topic, you can't really judge anyone since here in Brazil, let's say, there is a lot of different flavors. There's stroganoff pizza. I would absolutely have that. I love stroganoff. I love it. So I would definitely have that. I mean, this discussion's making me seriously hungry. Oh well. Worth it. Although saying that, it is distracting me. We are now 2 hours into the stream of me just doing maths. Mental. I like it though. Stats. Stator. Times everything here by 10. Yep, so 90 steel pipe. And 240 wire. And again, we're consuming another 6 assemblers. We're consuming a lot of assemblers here. Damn. Oh well. It has to be done, I suppose. For the house in the States, are they quite expensive? I don't really know much about the American real estate situation. All of that I know is extremely expensive houses somewhere in California. Because sometimes I like to just browse expensive houses during my free time, just to see how good or bad they actually are. And a documentary that I watched maybe 3 years ago, saying that there's like $1 houses in Detroit. So other than that, I'm not too sure about the market price. Stream is definitely making me hungry too. You got your lunch break from work in like 30 minutes. Oh, nice. Yeah. And then you're going to order a kiwi pizza. I've always wanted to go to Brazil, to be fair. Seems like a nice place. Of course, it's like the touristic areas, like the touristy areas, but I want to try and go to like, I don't know, like a random village somewhere, just to experience what life is actually like. I think it'd be pretty cool. So 90 steel pipe is 360 iron ingots. Okie dokie. And constructor-wise, that is only 4 constructors. That's not too bad, actually. It's 12, 14, 15. Roughly 15 megawatts. It's more like 14.3 megawatts or something, but I'm not going to do 14.3 megawatts, because that's just a bit weird. Next, we have 60 steel pipe, which is 240 iron ingots. Okay, that's not too bad. And again, regarding our constructors, that's an additional 3. Pretty much 10 megawatts. Lovely. I don't know if anything else has happened since my last stream, because again, that was a week ago now, my last stream. I think it was last Monday. We talked about the new Satisfactory video. Well, I mean, I touched upon it. There wasn't really too much to talk about. I don't think anything else Satisfactory-wise has happened. I've kind of just been away from my home for the last couple of days, so I'm just starting to get back into my regular routine anyway. Go. Wait, how many wire is that? Yeah, so times all that by 10, 'cause I need 180 wire, which is 100 iron ingots, which is exactly 8 constructors. Damn. 8, 16, 24, 32, pardon me, megawatts per minute. And the last one that we then need is 240 wire. There we go. Oh, that's such a weird number. Okay. Wait, really? Yeah, 134. Okay. That's correct. Yep. It's a combination of house prices being crazy high and rent prices being inflated. 150. Yeah, London's like that. Actually, London's a lot worse. It's terrible now, some parts of London. Very cheap apartment for your area. Yeah. I mean, Britain's not much better. Especially, like I was saying, with London as well. I think I've told this story before, but my media teacher, who was actually my media teacher for my A-levels, which again I was talking a bit about earlier on, her mother lived in an area of London which originally, when she was living there, wasn't really that nice. It was relatively cheap. It was kind of close to the city centre, but it wasn't considered like a nice area. But now, if she was to buy a house next to where her mum's house was, it would be like 10 times the price of what it was when her mum first bought it. Because essentially all the house prices are massively going up in London because for whatever reason that I won't be able to understand, people want to live in London. I'm saying that as someone who doesn't like to live in cities or next to a lot of other people, so it always just baffles me. Yeah, it was it's wild how much house prices are going up. Like, you'll see the most average looking house in London will be easily £1 million. Easily. Even terrible houses are more than $1 million. Although saying that, I think New York's got a very similar problem. I mean, New York has its nice parts, but again, I don't like cities. So it could be the nicest city in the world and I still won't live there. When you see like these penthouses going for like $7 or $8 million, it makes you just question like, how? Why? Some of them are dreadful. I mean, some of them are beautiful. They really are. But you're living in New York. All you hear is just beep, beep, beep. Then the construction site, then beep again. It's, cities. I've been like that ever since I was a kid. 360 plus 134. So in total, we're going to need 834 iron ingots. Not too bad. Go back. Well, I mean, 834 iron ingots is pretty bad, actually, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So, times everything here by 10. We are going to need, was that 13 refineries? Okay. We then have to do, is that 12.8? Yeah, 12.84 times by 30. $385. I'm gonna round down there a little bit because I rounded up here, so it makes sense. 385 megawatts. It is quite a lot, but it is what it is. Then resource-wise, for iron and water, we are going to need 450 iron ore. Okay. Again, sounds like a lot, but it's one conveyor belt worth. If you've got a Mark II or Mark III miner and like a normal or pure node at 250% efficiency. Not too bad. And water is 257. Lovely. It is true, Seth. I don't understand. Well, I can and I can't at the same time. I can, like, if you can afford it, absolutely, right? There are some very nice parts of London. Very, very nice parts of London. However, again, being not a very big fan of cities, I just don't understand. I don't understand. I'm very confused. Fused modular frames now. And you must be made here, right? Yeah, you are made here. I know for a fact that you are made here, because I made you recently. What recipe did I use? It must have been this one. I mean, I'm sure this one, it saves you an aluminium, probably saves you an iron, maybe nitrogen, I would say. This one probably ends up consuming more iron, aluminium, and nitrogen, but it looks a lot easier to do. So, yep, sure. And we're going to need 10 of these per minute, which means that we are going to need heavy modular frames. I do recommend visiting London though. Like, even though I wouldn't live in London, I still have to pass through it quite a lot, because when I want to go pretty much anywhere in the UK, other than like if it's close by, I have to travel through London, and there are some buildings there which just are beautiful. Especially if you like history, go to London. Even if it's just for like 3 or 4, I would say like 3 days, you can probably see enough. Maybe go down to Windsor if you can. Windsor Castle is beautiful. I used to live in Windsor when I was like a toddler. I don't remember too much. Apparently I met the Queen. Okay, I don't remember that, but there you go. My mum insists that I did, so I'm not going to debate her about it. Don't remember that. 10 heavy modular frames and 500 aluminium casing. I do recommend though, if you ever visit the UK, don't do the classic thing of only going to London, then assuming that's what Britain's like. London is not Britain. London is very different from what the rest of the country's actually like. Well, from what the majority of the country's actually like. If you were to go to the countryside, even if you go like to Bath, or Bath, depending how you say it, it's beautiful over there. Even Edinburgh. A lot of people don't go to Scotland because it's too far away or whatever, but I recommend it. Take a train out there maybe. Well, that would take quite a long time. Probably very expensive now as well, but even just get like an EasyJet flight from Stansted, London, or Luton if you really want to. If you really want to go to Luton. To Edinburgh, and it is quite nice. If you like castles, it's quite good. I've never been, but from what I've got a few friends from Scotland, and they say it's alright. Except for one guy said it's the worst place he's ever been to, but that's because he's from Aberdeen, so anywhere outside of Aberdeen is the worst place he's ever been to. Okay, nitrogen gas, 250. So this is what we're looking at right now for the fused modular frame. Get your face out of here, Turbo Motors. I don't even want to look at you. Because it's going to annoy me. No, I don't mind Turbo Motors, but there's better recipes for me to make. Yeah, Scotland is nice. Yeah. Just don't mention football. Because odds are you're going to piss off 50% of people that you meet. If you say that you like Rangers, you'll get beaten up by the Celtic fans. If you say that you like Celtic, you'll be beaten up by the Rangers fans. And it's all like to do with politics. Because Celtic was originally founded by, I believe, Irish immigrants who support the Republic of Ireland, and they like Ireland quite a lot normally, whereas Rangers is more loyalist, I believe, so they support Britain, they support the UK, whereas I think Celtic doesn't. Yeah, it depends, obviously. Right. Heavy modular frame, should we start there? Well, I mean, you know where we actually will start? We'll start here. Nitrogen gas. There you go, done. Fantastic. Nice and simple. We're then going to move all of you guys over here a little bit, because the heavy modular frame recipe is a bit of a chunky one. It's a very good recipe. Like, I know many of you are probably tired of me saying this, but I do love the heavy modular frame recipe. Of how simple it is to make. Also, what's the power consumption like for this? I didn't even bother checking. 6.7. We'll do that. Yeah, it's about 500 megawatts there for 7 blenders. Okay. Also the Lake District as well. The Lake District's beautiful. It's really nice. Again, never been, but I don't really ever hear bad stories about the Lake District. Like, no one that I know has gone there and thought it was shite. Everyone that I know that's gone there has thought it's beautiful, essentially. And it does look quite nice. I mean, look at that. I mean, I think it looks nice, at least. I know there's many places across the world that probably look nicer than that, but yeah. For us, it's decent. Wales is quite nice as well. There are parts of Wales that are beautiful. We don't really get many tourists though in Wales. Which is both surprising, but at the same time not that surprising, since I don't think there's too much to do in Wales. I've never known anyone to go to Wales for holiday other than to go watch football or to go clubbing or something in Cardiff. That's about it. Like everywhere on Earth, it's got its nice parts. Everywhere on Earth has got nice parts and bad parts. Everywhere. Let's just chuck you over there for a minute. Lovely. And probably, yeah. Let's move you to there for now. All these numbers are probably wrong, aren't they? I mean, even if they're correct, I still got to do all the power stuff for it, don't I? Okay, I've got to double everything. Okay. In fact, you know what? That's actually really simple to do. Just double everything here, then probably go back and check the power. That might make things easier for me. I don't actually know. It's what I'm going to do anyway, so hopefully it'll make things easier for me. So we're going to find out. Is Aberdeen actually worse than Glasgow? I mean, I haven't been to Aberdeen or Glasgow, but it depends who you talk to. Again, both parts I'm sure have its nice areas, both parts I'm sure has its rough areas. I'm sure they're both nice in some regard. 37 times by 2. I could have probably done that without the calculator. I'm just being lazy. But God has invented the calculator. I'm going to use it. If he didn't want the calculator, it wouldn't be here. That's my excuse. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. 112. Quick maths. 480. 480. 260. The reason why I'm doubling everything, by the way, is because the recipe that I've copied this from was producing 5 heavy modular frames, and now I want to try and produce 10. 5 times by 2 is 10, so yeah. Only the most complex maths here on this channel. 206. 85, 170, damn. Oh, 170 per minute. Phew. Calm down. And you lot are 220. And the funny thing is, before I started today's stream, I spent the first, the last hour and a half calculating all of this. So, for the last, technically, 3.5, almost 4 hours, I have been doing maths for a video game. Yeah, it's somehow still fun. I don't understand how this is fun to me, but it really is. How do I explain this to people? Like, what do you do for fun? Maths. Haven't you thought about playing a game? It is for a game. Okay. Because I haven't actually, properly played Satisfactory now in a good month, I would say. But by the time that I finish doing all these recipes, and by the time 1.1 comes out to the main game, I'm going to be straight in it. Just, straight Satisfactory episodes, constantly. Lots of fun, lots of laughs, lots of death. I mean, lots of fun. Lots of me dying to hogs. Both in-game and probably out-game as well. In real life. 400, 520. 520. 280. See, look at how much progress you managed to make there in the space of like a couple minutes. If I wasn't doing these blinking machine and power costs, I could probably get this all done within a couple episodes or a couple streams. But because I'm now doing the power and the resource cost, it's just... it makes it drag. But at the same time, though, it's okay. Because I feel like it's definitely worth it. Boom. No, boom. So, you're going to require... Ew, is that 4 manufacturers? .6 times by 55. 198 megawatts. Not bad. Oh, okay. Whoa. Just on there. Let's just make sure everything definitely lines up, so... 27, yeah, I could have done 26.7, but... 34, yep. Steel pipe, 120, yep. And then, yeah, okay, good. Everything does line up here. Let's start with the concrete. Which is right here. I don't know where I'm going off to there, but it's right here. Wet concrete, of course. 74, so that is 1 refinery. Consuming, I would say like 28 megawatts. $30 times by 0.9... was it 0.925? Yeah, so, yeah. I'm not going to do 27.75 megawatts. Nah. Next up now is a steel pipe at 120. Nope. If you want, by the way, you can use the molded pipe recipe. It's pretty good as well. I'm just using this because I just kind of like it. Yeah. Monaco is only nice areas. Yeah, I've never really heard about like a rough area in Monaco. So yeah, Vatican was lovely. I went to the Vatican once. It was very, very nice. Very small area, but very nice. I'd recommend it. Oh yeah, speaking about the Vatican, there's a new pope now, isn't there? American fella from Chicago. Isn't that kind of crazy? In the space of 2 weeks, we had a new American pope and an American community dev at Coffee Stain Studios. I mean, it's crazy. What would you say is like a more important role, though? A pope or being the community manager for Satisfactory? Because if you ask me, I think they're pretty pretty neck on neck, is that a real saying? Pretty close. Yeah. Anyway, I'm distracted again. How did we go from talking about steel pipes to talking about the Pope? Oh yeah, Vatican. So, 20, yep, 480, so that's 5 constructors. $19 megawatts. I wasn't just looking blankly there at the screen, I was just trying to do maths. Oh well. Molded pipe? Yeah. Could be easier. After the hoods of Chicago. Did he actually? I don't know much about his backstory. All I know is that he's from Chicago. So now we need to do our 480 iron ingots. Okie dokies. 48. Then just times it all by 10. Which is... yeah. Yeah. So refinery. We're looking at 8 refineries here. The reason why I seemed a bit confused about this, because 73.8462% is such a dreadful number. I guess let's just do 7.4. 30 times 7.4. 222. There we go. You should be finishing your 1,200 steel factory. Half that's going into your molded pipes, and a bit for encased pipe. But here you are. I am distracting you. I'm so sorry. But to be fair, you can see that you're using this as inspiration for other factories. Right? That would be my excuse. You're gathering inspiration for future projects. Pipe. Again, always use the pipe recipe if you can. Like I talked about yesterday in the video I released. Which was tied to something like the worst recipes in Satisfactory, and I saw a lot of people commenting being like, this isn't the worst recipe video, it's just saying don't use basic recipes. Well, no, it's because the basic recipes aren't as good. And if a basic recipe is abysmal, I'm gonna say it's abysmal and to use something else. That's kind of the whole point. Anyway. Assemblers, another 9. Assemblers assemble. So it's 8.5. Is it 8.5? Oh, okay. Fair. How am I going to do this maths? $127.5? I don't feel confident about that one. To be fair, it was actually quite basic. I just did 15 times by 10 minus 30 plus the 0.5 part. So, mathematics! Is that it for that recipe? No. God, no. We'll do the steel pipes now. And we need 206. Okay, that's 9 constructors. 8 times by 4, 32. Plus a quarter, 33. Next, concrete. We'll then do iron ingots whilst we're over here as well. In fact, you know what? We're already on iron ingots. 820? Damn. That's a lot of refineries. 13. Damn. $381. I mean, as long as it's not a decimal, I don't mind. Yep. From New Orleans, which is an actual shithole. 1 square mile worth of good parts. I've heard quite a lot about New Orleans. Isn't it, like, sinking? Like, the actual position of New Orleans 150, 200 years ago, whenever it was first founded, was very good. Because, again, if I'm thinking about the right city, at least. There's the river from Minnesota? No. There's a very important river that goes up a bunch of different states, essentially. And I think New Orleans is situated right next to it. So, for trade reasons, it's a fantastic place. However, I believe it's sinking though, isn't it? Might be completely wrong about that. And a part of me saying it's in Minnesota. I've got no idea. No, it can't be. That's in the north. Massachusetts? No. Mississippi. Is it the Mississippi River? It sunk. Oh, so okay, I am thinking about the right place then. Where is New Orleans? Oh, it is in Louisiana. Damn it. So where's the river then? Oh, so it's called the Mississippi River, but it starts in Louisiana? Holy. I think that is actual shit. Yes, well, that's the river. It is, yeah. I don't know what I have to do. Oh, it was literally right there. Huh? That's see, right, okay. If someone told me that they lived in Arkansas City, I would have thought they meant like the capital of like that state, not an actual city. That's a bloody village, by the way. That isn't. Oh man, sorry. Yeah. Oh, so it goes through Memphis as well. Damn. See, this is what I mean, like Ashport. Oh yes, Ashport. That doesn't have a port. Why is it called port? Anymore. I do love a lot of these names, by the way. Oh, Monty, hey. Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. That's a pretty big church for the middle of, like, actual nowhere. I suppose maybe, like, a bunch of the farmers just, like, got together and funded it, right? Must be a church here. Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah. Should we visit Monty together? Let's go inside of Monty. Or Monetti. Beautiful. Yeah, this is what I think of like a... Oh, this is actually really nice. Nothing's abandoned? Wait, what? Oh, there we go. Oh dear, there's a half-mast. Anyway, enough of exploring Monetti. What was I doing? Oh yeah, this. So that was 13 refineries at 381 megawatts. Now let's move on to our concrete, which is wet. Must be very excited concrete. That also needs, sorry, only 3 refineries. Okay. At 64 megawatts. Barely above 63 megawatts, but I might as well just round up anyway. The Mississippi Native Americans who lived in what is now the state of... Oh, okay. Fair enough. Down to Minnesota and is the border for a lot of... Yeah. That's cool. The more you know. Modular frames now. So we're moving on to the modular frame parts. And we're still going to try and calculate all the rest or the power for these recipes, even though like the actual numbers here are all entirely correct now, which is great. So let's just do the power stuff, which as you can see, this list is slowly but surely starting to become rather long. I'm going to reduce the height of it a little bit there. Now, this list is definitely starting to grow a little bit, which is great, but also not great. Are you guys... No, you're not part of that. Keep tracking you guys along here. That's good. Nice. Because our actual turbo motors are going to be a huge recipe within itself, which again, I'll probably do like a dedicated stream on. But then finish off the fused modular frames maybe as part of that stream or a different stream. We'll see. As of right now, though, you're important to me, okay? You. Modular frames, 27. We do 2.7 and times it by 10. It's the simplest way to do it. I could do like 1.35 and times it by 20, but why? Why? So you only need 2 assemblers. Okay. And then that is 135%. So one assembler is 15. A fifth of that, a third of that is 5. That's 20 plus a little bit more. It's like roughly 22. 1. 2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. We'll go 22. Because it's a song by Taylor Swift. Because I listen to Taylor Swift every single day of my life, apparently. Wait. I knew it was the wrong recipe. The second I saw that, oh, I am an absolute idiot sandwich. Luckily, it's not a massive drama. It's just a bit annoying. Absolute sausage. So now it's only one assembler. Assuming roughly like 14 megawatts. That's pretty good going. Yeah, I do recommend the steel frame. Yeah, don't use the recipe I just showed before. Use this. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah. Reinforced iron plates. There we go. 18. Not a constructor. I don't know why I typed constructor there for that one. Assembler. 4. 47. 48. There we go. What next? We're going to do iron plates, wire and steel pipe, all of which being constructors. You knew it? Yeah, you got it. Yep. That was my bad. Yeah, because that's how you spell plates, isn't it? Well done, me. That's how you spell plates. There we go. Pat on the back. I would do, but I've got a sore back, so I won't be doing that today. Every part of me is always hurting. It's so annoying. If my back heals, it's my neck. When my neck heals, it's my knee. When my knee heals, it's my other knee. It's, oh man, every... It's annoying. 12 megawatts. Wire. Using some iron wire today. And every day because I quite like it. You don't have to, but like I said earlier, if you want to, you can. Whenever I release something like the best recipe videos or whatever, you don't have to do the recipes I show. I recommend those recipes, otherwise I wouldn't be showing them. But feel free to use whatever recipe you feel comfortable with. Like, don't just do something because I'm doing it. You can do your own research. Or you can, trust me. But even in the videos, I do say, like, do the recipes that appeal to you. Oh. So 5 times by 4 is 20. We'll go 22. It's a bit less. It's more like 21.7 or something, but it's okay. It's fine. And the last one that we then need is 90 steel pipes. Didn't I already do? No, I didn't. I did plates. 4 again. 12, 13, 14, 15 megawatts. Not too bad. And now what we're going to have to do is 520 iron ingots into our refinery, which will then give us our very final results for today. So far today we did this. That is it. We didn't even finish the thermal propulsion rocket. That shows you how difficult this recipe is. Because I didn't even show you guys the singularity cell part of it, but as you can imagine, this took a while to do. Luckily, I'm a bit quicker when I don't stream because I don't get as distracted, but it still took a while to do regardless. We then have to do the entire thermal propulsion rocket recipe, And we haven't even started on the fused modular frames or the turbo motors. We then have superposition oscillators and dark matter crystals. The worst thing about this recipe is the power it's going to need. Have I got any examples to show, actually? Yeah, so this one's only 80. I've got to do 5 times all of this, so that's about 3,000 call per minute. We're looking at 2,000 SAM. How much SAM even is there in the playthrough? I feel like that's going to be a pretty big concern. So in our playthrough, there's going to be about 10,000 SAM. So a fifth of the entire SAM production is going to go into this one tiny element of this recipe. Damn. I can afford it. I believe I can afford it. I should have done all the maths before and prior, so I should be okay to actually do all of this. I've got a notebook somewhere that has like 40 or 50 A4 pages of satisfactory maths and calculations. And I believe there's when I realized I can do all of this. But yeah. Is using the foundry copper plus iron into iron wire worth it? Yeah. If you don't want to use any water, and if you don't want to use as much power as what you need from the refinery, then it's pretty worth it. Especially if you've got, like, a lot of iron and copper just lying around and you don't know what to do with it, then yeah, it's not bad at all. I will be making a video with every single alternate recipe, and I will be, like, ranking them on a tier list. In fact, let me just show you, actually. This one. So this is every single alternate recipe in Satisfactory. And I believe the recipe that you're talking about is maybe that one or this one, I think. Or maybe even that one. Anyway, regardless. I'll go through every single alternate recipe. I'll show it like in Satisfactory itself. So let's just use this as an example. Wet concrete. I'll say the next part is wet concrete. And then I'll cut to Satisfactory gameplay, where I then open up concrete. I'll then scroll down to where it says wet concrete, and I'll say, to make wet concrete, you are going to need limestone and water. This recipe is actually fantastic, especially if you do want to try and save on that limestone and get a little bit of water involved to make your concrete. I really do end up recommending this recipe. And then I'll go back and say S tier or whatever, right? So I will kind of go through every single alternate recipe eventually anyway. Wait. Where is it? There it is. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's just finish this. Yeah, today's stream went on for a lot longer than I thought it was, but I was really enjoying today's stream. And thank you to you guys for that, by the way, because if I had no one to talk to, I would have still probably done this, but it would not have been as fun. So thank you guys, as always. 8 times by 30. 240? No, that can't be right. It is right. Let's be positive. Sound. So, I think that's going to be it for today, chat. We haven't even finished the thermal propulsion rocket part of today's stream. I do want to try and do another stream, maybe even, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But the thing is, I've got a couple of videos ready to release, but when I go away for 2 weeks, I've got nothing. So I want to try and like save up some videos so that when I go away for 2 weeks, there isn't like a 2-week drought on the channel. So do expect a few streams over the next week, maybe even 2 weeks. I believe I go on like the 4th or something, I don't know. But start of June, essentially. So I want to try and get this entire recipe done, because that way, I can make my video about the singularity cells, I can make another video about the thermal propulsion rockets, I can make another video about the superposition oscillators, I'm not covering dark matter crystals again, and I can make a video about the ballistic warp drive. So that's essentially 4 videos that I can make from this one recipe. And of course, if you do end up watching those 3 earlier videos about the singularity cells and the thermal propulsion rockets and the superposition oscillators, I will leave timestamps where you can essentially skip towards a certain part of the video, rather than you having to re-watch the first 10 minutes of the video again, because that's extremely boring. So don't worry about that. But regardless though, thank you everyone for tuning in. It's 2 recipes, in fact, the iron wire and the... Yep, so the alloy iron, I believe, is the one that requires the iron and copper. And then the iron wire is what turns the copper ingots into the wire? I'll have to check that for a second. I think there is one recipe that does combine copper ore and copper ingots together. Yep, so the alloy ingot combines copper ore and iron ore. I'll show you very quickly. And then you then use that to then make your iron wire. Wait, no, can you? Well, you can't use copper ingots to make iron wire, but you can, of course, use the copper ingots to make regular wire. I don't think you can do it the other way around. No, so you can't combine iron and copper to make copper ingots, essentially. No. But either way, iron wire is good, and I suppose the alloy ingots are good as well. Yeah, I mean, again, if you've got like 3,000... Oh, that's quite a lot. If you've got 100 copper ore and 100 iron, and you don't want to use any iron, sure, combine them, get double the amount of copper. Brilliant. Yeah, I don't see a reason why not to use that, unless you like really don't want to use iron or you really don't want to use copper. But regardless, stream, thank you very much everyone for tuning in today. Tons of support in today's live stream, so thank you very much, guys, for that as always. I don't know why Restream's saying that we're offline. I don't think we're offline. We should be live, I hope. Thank you for the 12 likes on today's stream and the 300 viewers. Damn. 300. We peaked at 21 viewers as well. That's incredible. Thank you guys very, very much for that. My next stream, I will be starting off with some Geoguessr, then getting straight into some Satisfactory. Unless we get some, like, important Satisfactory news, but I don't think we will. Welcome, Sinbrosa. Hope that you're doing well. There is an iron alloy one too. Is there? Iron ore. There's a copper alloy. There is. Okay, there actually is. Yep. So this one. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, yeah, it's very good. Because normally 40 iron ore would give you 40 iron ingots. You're getting 75 now just by adding a little bit of copper. But again, same situation applies though. If you've got tons of iron, or if you've got tons of copper and you don't want to use any copper, just add it to this recipe. If you've got tons of iron and you don't want to use any iron, add it to the copper recipe to then make your copper ores. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good recipe. But again, all of that will be covered when I do end up talking about every single alternate recipe in Satisfactory in that tier list like I was talking about just a moment ago. So do expect that to come up. But regardless, thank you very much everyone for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day. Hopefully I can be live again either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, Godspeed.